Holy combat Carl finds a way, Batman! Tiki here, and I have been watching through each and every episode of Batman Beyond for the first time. Dragon, tell him why we're here.
Well, you see, folks, long ago I made a vow to educate Tiki in the ways of Batman the Animated Series, serving as his spirit guide to Gotham in a way. But that was the past, and we must now enter the Batman's future.
Tonight we're talking about the final proper episode of Batman Beyond. We're talking season 3, episode 13, Unmasked. Yeah. And Dragon, I gotta tell you, man, this is it's definitely not like the most conventional series finale in the world. It's not one of those series finales where it's like, oh my god, they wrapped up everything with a bow. It's perfect. But I honestly think that this is a pretty good one to go out on. I really enjoyed this one. A lot of good Bruce Wayne stuff. I really like the message of it. The ending's killer. Honestly, the ending, just as far as like a Batman will go on to influence generations to come sort of thing, I really think this works, Dragon. Even if it wasn't planned to be a series finale, I really think it works as one. So yeah, very much looking forward to getting into it. Let's see, Dragon, before the backstory, I just want to shout out Kogias here. Kogias, I am not going to play out that Terry Bruce exchange because I acknowledge that Terry is Batman. I'm sorry, but Kogias points out, Blockbuster Buster pointed out, the Amazing Spider-Man ripped off tonight's episode, the scene where Spider-Man takes off his mask to save a kid. He's also saying Kobra is very boring and forgettable. However, tonight's episode is one of the more memorable episodes of Batman Beyond. And I think that the episode where the hero's identity is at risk are exciting. Yeah, indeed. I did not read that right, but yeah.
No.
Little Blue, yes, I did hear about the Christopher Reeves thing. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I mean, it's certainly better than, like digitally inserting Christopher Reeves himself into a movie, but we'll see how it goes. All right, Dragon, lay it out for us. What's the backstory here?
Okay, so this was directed by Kunyun Won Lim, who did basically a lot of like the season 3 episodes. Well, a little bit of 2. Did Countdown most recently, the one we talked about right before this. Where's Terry?
Mm-hmm.
And Payback.
Mm-hmm.
The writer on this was Hilary J. Bader. Now she did some episodes, some really memorable episodes, kind of correlate with this one a little bit here. Did Meltdown, really good episode, and the one that correlates with this one, Hidden Agenda, which was about getting to trying to identify Batman.
Sure.
Through technology. Small world. Okay, studio worked on this. Tiki, would you believe the studio that worked on this episode was Coco and a little bit of Dong Yang?
Yes, Dragon. Yes, I would.
Okay. Wrong podcast, but thank you for saying it that way.
All right.
Yeah, we say that on the other podcast, the other recap podcast, Tiki, not this. Okay, but yeah. Okay. So now, Tiki, honestly, this we'll see. This might be the last time we actually say that.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Because if memory serves, I don't think Coco works on the next ones we're talking about, but we'll see. I mean, they might. I mean, it's been a while. Anyway, so
I guess I'll actually be surprised next time.
Maybe. I mean, it could be them, though. Yep, could be them.
All right.
Okay, so this episode's background actually is really interesting. So this episode's bittersweet in a lot of ways, in that it was a long delayed episode that was stuck kind of as the series finale. The reason being, so this episode has Kobra, which of course we've established Kobra, a band of snake-themed terrorists, and this came out in 2001.
Oh God!
So
Yikes!
yeah, so that's so essentially,
And it also includes a tower that's on
mhm,
fire.
exactly.
Oh
So
man!
as you can imagine, so that's why the episode was long delayed, which led a lot of people to believe, oh man, it must be something really good. Like they saved something really special for the last episode.
Nope.
They delayed it, and
Nope.
essentially it
I
kind of
was alive during the whole 9/11. Like we have to like flush all of the 9/11 imagery out of media, and no, a lot of that stuff was just like it just happened to have a plane that was shot in the wrong way. Definitely not special occasion worthy in most instances.
so Tiki, that's the thing. Much like Seinfeld, for example, sometimes you have finales that have a lot of hype when they're just really a standard episode. Where it's like there's there's a lot of hype based on like the delay and the fact that hey, it's technically this was they kind of did the network change during this. Like when this episode came out, this is like when they made the shift from the Kids WB Saturday morning to Cartoon Network.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, in Cartoon Network is essentially where Justice League ends up and all that sort of stuff. So this is them kind of basically making that transition. So it's like, oh my god! Not only are we waiting for this, it's changed to another network. This must be huge.
Oh God!
It's like we have to track this puppy down. They must be hiding something. So yeah, so this
I
episode,
mean, in one respect, like it's definitely not like a like if you have a ton of hype going into it, sure, it's going to be a little bit of a letdown. But I still think it's a really, really solid episode in its own right.
Well, that's the thing, Tiki. No one hates this episode, but they hate where it was placed. They hate the fact that it was the finale. They hate that there was a lot of disappointment by fans, but not
I
against
think
the
there could
episode.
be worse series finales. Honestly.
There are.
Yeah.
Well, then that's true. But that's the thing. This is not really a series finale. Just is de facto a series
No,
finale.
but I'm just saying, like as a statement to go out on, like like I said, I feel like at least this episode kind of like speaks to the whole like Batman influencing future generations and everything. I feel like that's at least a note to go out on. You know what I mean?
Yes, I mean that's the thing. So Bruce Timm and company, they don't hate this episode by any stretch. They just view it as it's just an average episode of Batman Beyond. This episode was the eye opener to them that okay, we've learned our lesson. We don't want this kind of thing to happen again. Who knows what other world disasters might happen? Whatever happens, we don't we don't care how the network like wants to do the whole syndication thing, because that's essentially what happened here. That Batman Beyond didn't get canceled, but it didn't get renewed. It got the network line of thinking back in the day. It doesn't work like it does like now for like My Adventures of Superman, where people like it, so we've renewed it for a third season. We've tested it out.
Sure,
we contract them for 2 seasons, but we won't publicize the second season until we see how the first season does. And then if season 2 has been going really well, so we've approved it for a third, and then so on and so forth. That's how we're doing it now. Back then, it was like when you hit the syndication number of episodes, you don't have to do anymore. We have enough to do reruns till the end of time until I guess it changes networks or we don't rerun anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So that based on that, it was like the fact of that. So Bruce Timm and company kind of decide from that point forward, going into Justice League, okay, no matter what happens, we're just going to assume the networks are going to like pull the plug or something. So we're going to make sure we end on a high note each season of Justice League, which is what happened. So that's when they started doing the series finales, because before that, the only real series finale they had was Superman the Animated Series, which is one they had a feeling they weren't coming back, so they ended big.
Got it.
Anyway, let's see. Okay, anyway. So I'm going to say this. So Batman Beyond wasn't concluded, but did reach the end of its contract here. But again, as we go forward in our recaps, we have a few left that are going to kind of see the other appearances somewhat basically chronologically, like the things that would happen after Batman Beyond kind of ended here. Plus, this episode itself is technically a flashback episode. This takes place, during season 1, but it was retroactive. Like, what if this happened during season 1? That was the thinking on this.
You mean, just to be clear, you mean the actual like story, not the present stuff, the framing device.
Yeah,
right?
just the flashback. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like, this is a set.
I was going to say Max wasn't in season 1.
No, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like him telling her the story. Like that's
right. Yeah.
because they realize like this is like Terry makes a kind of a big mistake in this episode. Or that depends on how you come down on the issue, I suppose. But let's just say he made a mistake that's a very season one kind of like an early years of Batman kind of thing he might do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's a flashback. But anyway, so we have a couple episodes left after this, folks. I don't think this is like the. I just want to preface it in case anyone's in a panic.
This is not the finale to the animated Batcave. That's going to be a much bigger occurrence.
Again, folks, don't mention what happens if you have seen. Trust me, folks are going to know what the end is. So just like let's not talk about that. Okay. All right. So one last thing.
Yes, I definitely agree that Blight should have been brought back. Hard agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Sean Marquette, by the way, he voices the kid, and Sean Marquette voices a Craig McCracken character.
Which one?
Mac from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Oh, nice, cool.
Yeah, which has kind of made a comeback.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. How come this takes place in season 1 if Terry didn't meet Kobra until season 3? Can you answer that, Dragon?
Well, technically, he met Kobra in season 2, and that's the thing. So we've had 2 Kobra episodes, but honestly, if you look at retroactively, we've kind of had a Kobra episode each season. And I don't know. I don't think Terry. He kind of became acquainted with them, but I think it might have been like a known organization. So look, it's entirely possible. Again, it's retroactive. They didn't really think about Kobra in season 1. All right, so that's why they're not in season 1. Okay, I'm not gonna. But if you look at canonically, though, it's like he did meet him in 2, so it's possible he met him earlier. So why not?
All right, fair enough.
Plus, given what happens to the leader at the end of this episode, we know why there's an opening for a new leader.
I mean, that's the thing, is that the end of this episode, it goes hard emotionally with the beat with the kid at the end.
Yeah.
And also, holy shit, a villain literally just like suicides himself on air.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
That's pretty hardcore, man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. So was that it? Do we any more setup we need to get through?
Nope, we're good.
Alrighty. Let's just jump right into it then. So it seems like we start where Max seems to be organizing some sort of like school cleanup, recycling day type dealio.
Yeah, well, no, actually, no, it's not Tiki. I think they're getting ready for the pep rally.
Oh, okay, because Max was just like directing everybody with where to go. But yeah, sure, if it's a pep rally, that's fine. I do think it's funny, really quick, that Howard Groot has an off-screen cameo.
Yeah, it does. Sadly, we have
Which honestly is like, it's like, I honestly feel like it's not more than Dana gets, but I feel like given how big of a character Dana was in season 1 and how she just progressively become less and less relevant, yeah,
Well, it's also kind of like the old animation trope where, like, hey, why did we if you look at an X-Men show, how did they get so many mutants? Well, none of the extras really speak. In this case, it's like, well, we couldn't get all the actors, so that's why Howard is off screen, Dana's off screen, and Barbara Gordon, we kind of mentioned her, but she's not in this episode.
Fair enough. Okay, we got a comment, Rice Noodle 117. I don't really there is literally like no footage online about this ride, so could you describe your experience? Okay. All right, Dragon, I'm terribly sorry. We're going to have to take a little bit of a side tangent because I do respect people that seek out old content on my channel and are asking about it. So yeah, Rice Noodle, essentially what the Pacific Rim 4D experience was at Discovery Kingdom, it was literally just footage of the final fight in the movie, like set to a motion simulator. So there was no actual new footage. It was basically like they chopped up actual movie footage of Pacific Rim. It was in 3D. There was like, obviously you had like the motion simulator seats. Yeah, that's about it. It truly was one of the worst theme park attractions I've ever experienced. I mean, and that 3D theater is still sitting abandoned to this day. They briefly resurrected it to show a a 3D film called Monkey Madness, which I actually really liked. It really fit the vibe of the park. Like Pacific Rim definitely did not fit the vibe of Discovery Kingdom. But I digress. So yeah, but I haven't been to Six Flags in like a year. I was actually just thinking about this. I need to get back there. Because the last time I went there, I did not have the best experience as far as operations goes. Anyways, Dragon, terribly sorry about that. Let's get back on track.
All right, so so again, there's the pep rally is going on in Hamilton High. Max is coordinating it. Terry is late. Actually for running an errand for Mr. Wayne, taking him to the doctor because his back was acting up. A little Bane reference there.
I do think that was cute.
Yeah. Okay, I know it. Look, I know in case anyone just jumps down my throat. I know Bane didn't break his back in Batman the Animated Series. I'm just saying that's anytime you have like a back, Batman back problem.
I'm totally with you. It really doesn't matter if he didn't break his back in the cartoon, because that's when you think Batman and back breaking, you think Bane. Come on now.
Yeah, that's usually.
Let's see. We have Death Star Bros in the comments. Getting a lot of new people tonight for some reason. Happy to have it. They're just saying Batman Beyond should be a movie. Dragon, I think it's fair to say we emphatically agree. Absolutely 100%.
And it's been pitched. It's been pitched, and I really hope it gets some traction.
I'd be down to have Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne in a Batman Beyond movie. Like, I'd be down for that. But honestly, I honestly think best case scenario would be a Spider-Verse style movie. I really think that's where this franchise would thrive. Anyways. All right, Dragon. I'm terribly sorry. Let's move forward.
Okay, anyway, so that's the so Terry's shown up shown up late. Dana, she got tired of waiting for him, and she left. So Nelson, that's what I'm saying. I think it had to be like a pep rally sort of thing. So I mean, they don't explicitly spell that, but I think there's like Nelson has a line here. He asks where McGinnis' school spirit is. So that's what makes me think it's a pep rally.
All right, it really doesn't matter.
Well, no, I bring it up because, I mean, why would Dana leave otherwise? If it was like a thing she didn't have to be at, it wasn't like a school, like, hey, we've been assigned to do this sort of thing. Anyway, so Nelson and Bruce Timm High School, or I like to call him, just Bruce Timm, just high school student that happens to sound like Bruce Timm. We have a couple of those. Here's a heady idea. What if he's J-Man out of makeup? We had the whole thing with Terminal. The same writer is doing this episode. What if that's him? Anyway, so Nelson and the Bruce Timm High Schooler, they joke that Batman filled in for you. So Terry is understandably upset by this as he questions Max about this.
Mm-hmm.
She mentions that she made a funny. Maxine Gibson made a little funny here that Terry and Batman are never in the same place at the same time, which, unless you're at the Daily Planet, is the last thing you want to say.
Yeah, honestly, I gotta say, this is like one of my few nitpicks with this episode is that I just don't really buy that Max would be that careless. Like, it's a gimme. I don't really care, but it's I feel like
it's a rookie move for Max.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah.
Let's see. So she joked about it again. We need an impetus for the episode, so that's why that's there.
Exactly.
Let's see. So she says it kind of slipped out. Again, like forgetting who she's talking to, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And she then raises. Now here's I think where the episode probably really kind of should have started with this sort of thing versus like the joke framing device, if you ask me. But I like the idea that she's asking, would it be so bad if more people...
Dragon, you literally could just do the same fucking story and just not have the whole joke thing. Like, yeah, you literally could just frame it through the context of the Dana thing. Yeah.
Because again, this is a thing that we keep everyone and their mother is like wondering, why doesn't McGinnis tell Dana? Like we always talk about how bad it is if the loved ones find out, but what we actually talk about this episode, which is good, it just feels like we just could have connected the Dana dots a little, because Max is like, I'm so tired of covering for you with Dana. Let's go tell her. Let's do it. I
do like that. There's like that right there is like one of the very few moments where it actually feels like there's a hint of urgency that's like series finale worthy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Like, come on, Terry, let's go change the status quo.
It's the last episode. We can do anything we want.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Let's see. So, okay, so she asks, like, would it be so bad? Which then leads to, which then leads to the whole, like, make life a lot easier, but he does tells the story about the Diaz kid, which, yes, fun fact, the Diaz kid, his full name, Miguel Diaz. T, does that name ring a bell to you? Did you have like that? Wait a minute! Did I just hear the name I thought I heard? Moment.
I mean, a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Miguel Diaz is just kind of like a generic name. It's kind of like a John Smith kind of name. You know what I mean?
Now very popular.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Very funny. And of course, that kid now has been in a DC movie, so it's even funnier.
All right, Death Star Bros. I'm going to fight you on the Batman and Robin film. That film is indeed trash, but it is my trash. I love that trash. So
basically, Batman and Robin to Tiki is a trash like Forky, so it's a beloved trash. It's trash that's been refashioned into a child's plaything.
I will still argue any day of the week that it's maybe not a better film than Batman Forever, but for me, it's a more enjoyable film than Batman Forever.
I would argue against you on that one.
I cannot take Tommy Lee Jones and Batman Forever, Dragon. That's always been my
thing. It's like a quality versus quantity thing, where it's like, again, like, yes,
there's
we have
nothing in Batman and Robin that annoys me more than Tommy Lee Jones and Batman Forever.
What about Poison Ivy? The whole curses or Bane?
I don't know. I think Poison Ivy is fun. I think Uma Thurman's one of the few like actors in that movie that's actually like notes. And plus, with Poison Ivy, we have the whole "I'm afraid you'll have to die."
Well, yeah, that wasn't her doing
Anyways.
that, though.
All right. No, I know, but it's her storyline.
All right, anyway.
Anyways.
Okay, so we have our structure here for the flashback episode set during season 1, basically like a lost episode we never saw.
It's almost like an episode that you could only see on a video game.
Yeah.
Kind of obscure reference there, I'm sorry.
Well, it's funny. You do know there actually is an episode of Batman the Animated Series that essentially is that, right?
That's exactly what I was referencing, Dragon. Thank you.
Good on you, man. Good on you. I was like, tell me he's referencing that, and he's like, yes, he was. Okay.
Yep. I'm sorry that it took me having to clarify it. I guess I didn't get it out clearly enough, but yes.
No. It's just I'm impressed. I didn't think you would make that reference. I thought you were just referencing something else. Like, oh wow, he is referencing what I hoped he would reference. That's great.
Indeed. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so Miguel Diaz, not that one, the other one. Miguel Diaz, roughly the same age as Terry's brother. He's playing with his action figure at a barbecue. Soldier Sam, which is basically kind of a combination of Bruce Timm's love of Jack Kirby style Nick Fury and G.I. Joe, which is 10 times funnier when you realize
we gotta have a G.I. Joe. Go ahead, sorry.
No, I'm sorry. It's even funnier when you realize again it's an episode where we have Kobra as the bad guy.
Yeah, of course we have a big G.I. Joe stand-in when we have Kobra. Of course, naturally.
Very funny.
All right. So the kid's playing with action figures. We got one of the other moms saying like, oh, that kid's been playing with action figures all day. Why doesn't he play with the other kids? So Miguel's mom, Mrs. Diaz, name is probably Carmen for all we know.
Hey, as far as I'm concerned, well, she is Hispanic.
Yes, Dragon. Thank you for that. Thank you for that insight. Yes. Anyways. So she tells him to go play with the other kids. Dragon, why don't you tell him what fun, rambunctious adventures the other kids are up to, Dragon?
Well, they're fighting and dogpiling on the other kids. So, it's we have like the one mom say, oh, what referring to Miguel, you're like, oh, so violent. Just hear him play with the action figures.
I gotta say, Dragon, I freaking love this little piece of social commentary. I
Yeah,
really do. It's kind of blink and you miss it, but I really got a kick out of it. I
I
was
love it.
like,
No, I love it
that's
too.
funny. Because the kids are practically like, beat me up, beat him up. I mean, they're really just being complete animals with each other, honestly.
I mean,
If I'm
I'd be
being
the kid
frank
with
about it.
I'd be the kid with the action figures.
Yeah, no, me too. Absolutely.
All right, Tiki. Two
All
things.
right. So while this is yes.
Right. One. I love that Doctor Darkblood here, the villain, designed to look a lot like Batman. So to kind of basically cement how the kid feels about a character that would look like this guy.
Mhm.
And two, I wonder if you had this with Soldier Sam. What are you
Yeah,
thinking?
and that's gonna kind of play into one of the more memorable.
Sorry, Tiki. I think we have a bit of a delay there. Apologies. Soldier Sam. Did Raw?
Yeah, I think we do. Dragon, I think I'm gonna need to restart. So can you kind of yada yada us through some of the Cobra stuff while I come back?
Sure.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. Give me 1 sec.
All right, folks. Real quick, I'm going to read off some comments here. Would have been funny if the action figures were toys of Batman, Superman. Yes, that would have been funny. It would have made I don't know, it would have made the GI Joe
You might
Cobra.
also lose the thumbnail for a second, Dragon. Just so you know.
Okay, okay. Anyway, yes, it would have been funny for Batman, Superman, but by the same token, though, it's just kind of we kind of lose the whole GI Joe Cobra thing. So, which I don't know. I think that's kind of funnier. Plus, it's also like an acknowledgement of yeah, we know the whole. It was like kind of a weirdly kind of time thing, history of DC Comics with the Cobra stuff. So let's see. Oh, Little Blue is in the comments saying, "Hey guys, a Bat credit card." Yeah, very funny. Well, we know what he bought those action figures with. No, I'm kidding. Dumb joke. Anyway. Okay, let's see. So, just kind of summarize some points here. Okay, so again, so Miguel he's playing on the tower to get away from like the kids all roughhousing and such. Meanwhile, Cobra they're robbing a place. They're robbing basically kind of a credit union of sorts, if you will. Cool bad entrance. Kind of fighting him as he basically is running at them through the smoke. Really good stuff there. Cobra ends up escaping in the kind of the Jack Kirby style kind of a hovercraft. Let's see. We have a Batmobile chase. Batman calls. Bruce Wayne calls the commissioner. Again, we don't hear or see her in this episode, but Barbara Gordon is mentioned at least in spirit. Let's see. Also, you want to be all canonical and things here. I guess that puts this after we introduce, Barbara Gordon, like, way back. Let's see. Yes. Okay. So Batman evades a missile, but the missile hits the tower that Miguel was playing on, like kind of the upscale, kind of like cookout barbecue kind of area there. So Terry, he's there's a kid on top, so he kind of stops the pursuit. He's going after him, which again, there's a Batman for it. He saves the kid. That's my kind of Batman. Yeah. Let's see. Batman swoops in. He walks through the fire. Okay, I'm going to read some comments real quick here. Let's see. Yeah, Death Star Bros is basically bringing up how awesome Batman Beyond Return of the Joker is, and how a lot of those elements might be good in a live action film. And yes, I mean I don't know if you want to remake it in live action, but yeah, I mean doing something like that or doing kind of something encompassing about the history of Batman, like the past and such, might bear some good results.
All right, I'm not sure how good, how much that fixed things. I'm just gonna rant for a second though, because As you know, Dragon, I recently bought a new laptop. I've been going off of really cheap Chromebooks for a while. That just was not doing it anymore. And Dragon, honestly, I kind of have the opposite problem. Hit on it to the point where occasionally, Dragon, it will start to load shit like, hey, don't you want to check out this feature of your laptop? And I'm like, not now, motherfucker. I'm in the middle of a record. So I'm terribly sorry about that, Dragon. Like, my laptop is literally like trying to show off its new features, and that's what's kind of causing the slowdown. It's very annoying. Anyways.
Okay. Anyway, so Tiki, we're at the big moment right now. So Terry goes to save the kid. He's walking through fire. He looks very.
Tell me
he
you
looks.
Can hear me, Dragon. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I can hear you, Tiki. Just it's I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hello. Okay. Anyway, folks. Let's see. Where was I? Oh yeah. So the kid. So basically, the Batman goes to save the kid. He's walking through fire. The kid is terrified of him here, and then we basically do exactly what Code Geass.
Yeah, Death Star Bros. I'm not sure. This doesn't quite know what to do, Dragon. I don't know what to do. This computer for a couple. And I will also say, Dragon, I probably should have warned you about this earlier, but like in California, right now, the freaking like our power was off for like half the night last night, so that honestly might be part of it because of the heat. I don't know, man. We were Austin Jones. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, Death Star Bros. I don't know who that is, but yeah, Jesus. That's definitely got the ick factor. Dragon, I don't know what to do. Tell me what to do.
Well, Tiki, can you hear me, first of all?
I don't even know if you can hear me.
Okay, Tiki, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. You can hear me. All right, so let's just I guess let's go through it then. Let's keep going.
Okay, but Dragon, I'm just like I don't even have access to the episode, so I'm kind of flying blind right now, just so you know.
Okay. All right, let's just go off memory then. All right, so let's see. What was all right? So again, so Batman. We're at the big titular moment of the episode here. Okay, so Batman is walking through fire. He's scaring the kid. We have the Amazing Spider-Man moment, which again, the moment I saw the Amazing Spider-Man, first thing I thought of during that scene, which I loved, of course, I love superheroes saving people, was, okay, they completely got this from. This is so similar to the finale of Batman Beyond. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Tell me, Dragon, in the Spider-Man episode, monster, because I really like the way that they.
I'm sorry, T. Could you repeat that?
Oh man. Oh, this is not going to work, is it? In Spider-Man, do they have the do they do the same thing where the kid thinks that Spider-Man's like a monster at first?
Well, in the Amazing Spider-Man movie, they don't do, the kid's not looking at him like a monster, but he's just like the kid's scared. He reveals the face just to put him at ease. So it's not a monster thing. That's just this. But I'm just saying it's very similar. It just feels so eerily similar to that.
Okay, yeah, I folks, I honestly don't know what to do with these tech issues. I'm very frustrated right now because it's literally a brand new laptop that I paid like 2.5 times the amount that I usually pay for a laptop on. So the fact that it's crapping out on me like this when it's brand new, I just don't even know what to think. But Dragon, let's just roll with it.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, yeah, very, very similar to the Amazing Spider-Man, just in hindsight, which I have to imagine Mark Webb just really liked this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And honestly, if I wasn't so like distressed by the tech issues, I would have realized that you were talking about the Amazing Spider-Man and not an animated series. I'm sorry about that. My mind's in a million places right now. This sucks because this episode's really good, and I thought that we had a good discussion going on at the start. So I don't know, Dragon. I don't know, like, at what point do we want to call it with actually recapping it right now? I'm trying to go through it, but like we just seem to keep running into communication issues.
Do we want to leave it to the audience?
And I don't want like half the podcast to be us going through communication issues, especially when it's the last episode.
Right.
But it's your call ultimately.
Great, my call.
Well, all it's right. Your show.
Yeah. All right, okay, folks in the Code Geass and Little Blue and whoever wants to weigh in here. Who do you guys think we should keep going?
Like right now, I feel like it's going a little bit better, but like again, there's the issue of like the back. Like this is going to be on the backlog. We're going to have like this whole like tech demo like thing, tech difficulties.
All right.
Well, let's keep going for now. If anyone, I don't know. Like I said, Dragon, I can't even pull up Max right now out of fear of slowdown, so I don't even really have a good keep going. You guys sound okay. Little Blue says to keep going, Dragon. God damn it, we're going to keep going.
All right. Okay. So again, just Tiki, how do you feel about the whole just in reference to the Amazing Spider-Man thing? Like, do you think it's like a fun coincidence, or like do you think like one did it better than the other? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of the more memorable moments from the Amazing Spider-Man. So it's funny that it is so similar. I will say though, Dragon, that I think the thing that separates the Amazing Spider-Man from this moment, and why I think I kind of prefer this moment, is, and I think this is very much a Batman thing and not a Spider-Man thing, is I really like the idea and the visual of like the fire making Batman look extra scary, and kind of like him having to calm the kid down from that.
Yeah, I mean, it feeds into the whole Batman, being used to scare the superstitious and cowardly, but not children. There's like, I'm sure some people might appreciate this in Batman's role in Justice League: New Frontier. It's in the animated movie as well as the comic that Darwin Cook did, and I bring up that because Darwin Cook did the opening title sequence to Batman Beyond. There's a wonderful moment in that story where Batman saves a kid, but kind of similar to this. And again, this one would be more of like, Darwin Cook kind of pulling it from Batman Beyond because he directly worked on the show. Would be Batman he kind of beats a bunch of cult guys and he kind of walks through and there's a little bit of fire around him and he looks kind of demonic and the kid's freaking out. And after that, that's when we go from the 40s Batman look to basically the 60s Batman look by the end of that story, because he doesn't want to scare kids because now he's like Robin as a sidekick and everything. So I like the connective tissue. I like kind of the feel of that. I love the Batman. Sorry, what?
I just said I like the idea of that. Jesus Christ, we really
no. I did no that no. I yeah. Yeah, it is a really nice. It's a nice idea. Anyway, so okay. Point being, the kid's freaking out. He's gonna be barbecued. So Terry's just like slag it. He removes the mask so the kid's not terrified. He sees like, oh, you are. It's basically how us is like a Daredevil moment of I'm not the bad guy, So he says, yeah, you are a good. Yeah, you don't look that scary. So he saves. He lets Batman save them, and they get out of there. And seemingly the day is saved. Episode's over, but it's not. So essentially, what happens here is, Max is interjecting here. Says, "See, everything's fine. The kid saw you unmasked. What's the worry?"
I'm pretty sure that's where we get the whole like, let's go tell Dana right now.
Yep, she's like, "Hey, let's go tell Dana. Let's go find her and just let's nip this in the bud." Says, "There's more." Yes, Max. There's more. So they're not happy at Kobra headquarters. We have. Here's something funny. I don't know if you recall this. Kobra, they're robbing like essentially a credit union or basically like a bank, and because they have money issues. Yet their big computer display has like a Kobra statue built into it. Just think about that for a moment. Just the fact of like, no, it's not even just that, okay? They have that and they have the Kobra pits. Okay, it's like, guys, if you're hemorrhaging money, the expenses that you're putting into your secret lair. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, we've
It's
made
almost
fun
like
of
a metaphor for current day Disney.
well, sure, but I'm just saying, Tiki, why are you comparing Disney to a terrorist organization, man? Come on.
Yeah.
Okay,
They're terrorists against the goodwill of their theme park audience, Dragon.
Come on, man. We're talking first world like problems, like the people who can afford to go to Disney. Come on.
I can't afford it anymore, Dragon.
Yeah. Yes.
Anyways,
okay.
not that I would want to.
Okay, regardless though, it's just we've taken our pot shots at Kobra here. This is just like yet another reminder, man. The Kobra, they're not that bright from an investing standpoint, from like the actual like how to run their evil organization, are they?
I legitimately think that this episode would be better if it was like a random street gang or the Jokers even or something. Kobra is just so lame as villains go.
I got to admit, though, of all the Kobra plots, though, at least this one, look, there's a bit of cleverness to it versus the other two. You have to give them that, you know.
I mean, again, I just kind of feel like it's just kind of just the strength of the other stuff in the episode that kind of elevates the Kobra stuff as much as it does.
Sure.
Okay, really quick, Death Star Bros is asking Batman Begins versus Dark Knight Rises. Pretty definitively for me, Batman Begins. Dark Knight Rises, I kind of feel like I've softened on it over the years, but it's still not great. I still think there's a lot of plot holes in it. There's a lot of missed opportunities in it. Why did Batman retire for 10 years after losing his girlfriend? I think that's BS. Anyways, what about you, Dragon?
Well, no, easily Batman Begins. I mean, look, Batman Begins. Honestly, look, you're a
big Ra's al Ghul guy for one, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's easily. I like them both, but easily it's Batman Begins. Like honestly, just for the ending alone of Batman Begins, that's everything I ever wanted in a Batman movie. Just the end of Batman Begins. Okay, that's the rooftop scene on film. Okay, they did it. It's perfect. I love it. That ending is flawless to me. So I'm already like easily. That's like right. Yeah. Okay. So the leader of Kobra, he senses weakness in the ranks, and then he uses because he's wondering how the heck was Batman there ready and waiting for him. So he uses a nod. I like to think a nod to Hugo Strange's thought machine from Batman the Animated Series. You remember the thought machine, like the thought reading machine, right?
Vaguely.
I mean, the whole Hugo Strange discovered who Bruce Wayne is. They put him in the machine. He saw his thoughts on the screen, and they auctioned off the identity.
Oh yeah, right.
So that whole thing, I like to think the way this machine works. I'd like to think they found someone or whoever they got this from found Hugo Strange's designs, and they basically refurbished it.
Mm-hmm.
That's my headcanon, at least. Deal with it, America. So. The leader senses he puts one of his. We demonstrate how this thing works. We have one of the underlings put on the helmet, and we reveal that he warned his brother who works at the bank. Which I love that detail that he's got a brother. He doesn't want him to get hurt during the heist.
No, I will say that is one of the few moments that actually like humanizes Kobra a little bit.
Yeah.
But the Kobra leader is like, we're not human. There is no family. There's only Kobra.
Kobra.
I'm talking like the like the monarch leader because that's what I associate lame insect-themed villains with. Anyways.
Yep. Okay, so then we basically there's a lot of raiders in this episode. We basically kill them off in like Indiana Jones's worst nightmare, where we send this guy down.
Like you said, just the actual like fiscal responsibility of having the snake pit. you gotta feed all those snakes, Dragon. I feel like you probably have to hire a special person to feed the snakes. It's just a whole ordeal.
Because I don't know, like, are you allowed to feed snakes rats, or does it have to be like special lab mice?
I honestly don't know, but with that many snakes, I feel like there's got to be it's a process. It's a process.
Yeah. So, but you can tell like the whole snake pit's definitely a nod, like Bruce Timm, like having a nod to Raiders, that kind of thing. It feels very Indiana Jones.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good touch. Honestly, wouldn't that's how you redeem Kobra? Okay, you have like Indiana Jones going up against a snake cult. Can you imagine that?
I actually could imagine that.
Wouldn't that be like actually a really good idea?
That totally sounds like something out of like an Indiana Jones video game or something.
Or the Young Adventures of Indiana
Jones. Right, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so poor guy gets sent to the Cobra pit. Cobras love rodents. If only it were Batman. Which again, that's a pretty good line. The fact that they're feeding a rat to the Cobra pit, and they want
it's like rodents. A '60s Batman villain line, but it's fun.
That's what I'm saying. That feels like again, like in that '60s Batman comic they did Cobra. That's again, if you use like the very '60s Cobra, I don't know. Okay, so the kid saw Batman with his mask off, and the story's all over the news. They see it on the news, and the kid mentions this. Oh yeah, he's just a guy like any one of us. Saw him with his mask off. Back to our story. Max, Max is like she's sorry. Max interrupts and says like, so how'd the old man take it? Oh, he was nonplussed. This leads to the best scene in the episode.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. And I'm glad that our technical issues seem to have been sorted out by now.
Yeah. So Bruce Wayne, he chooses. Oh my God! So I love that again. Even if this were the last episode of Batman Beyond, okay, we do get like one of the ultimate Grey Conroy moments.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, so Bruce Wayne.
As soon as it happens, I'm just thinking like, well, there we go. We don't have to fight over the Great Conroy moment. It's right there.
God, it's just a question of which syllable. That's the only thing. Which syllables? Okay, so like, what were you thinking? He says he would have died. There was no other way. There's always another way, which already is a great line.
I think there's always another way. Is probably like if we have to take like one piece of this, I think that's the piece, right?
It's really there's like three. Again, that's what I'm saying. It's like the whole thing's like a string of dialogue, so it's kind of hard to pick. Like out of context, that's a great that's a great Conroy right there. But just like the problem is, is because he's probably forgotten what my face what the face looks like now anyway. And then we have this for me is like that doesn't matter. He slams the table down.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter. What matters is other people think he knows what you look like. And then we have this again. I think it's between that doesn't matter and this next line here. What matters is you've made that little boy a target. Like, because here's the thing. Kevin Conroy's playing this so perfectly because again, he's tremendous here. Terry screwed up majorly. And this is like a season 1, like very wet behind the ears, Terry. He's violated the point of Batman here. Okay. The whole point of Batman is to protect the kid from being victimized in the alley, protect the kid from crime. And he's now made this kid a target. This innocent kid is now like a target, and all the superstitious and cowardly are going to descend upon him. All because of Batman here. It's because and he just feels he hates that his image is being used to endanger a child, and he is just pissed off at Terry, and that makes so much sense. And totally. And Terry just feels awful about it. And I love that we see it on his face.
Basically, like the worst case scenario of like everything that Bruce was worried about. Mm-hmm. Taking on a new protege at this point. You know what I mean? It's like,
yes,
it is like the worst case scenario of that.
And I love that the kid's like the same age as his brother. He feels awful about this, So Batman's shadowing the kid, as he's just going to follow him around there. Let's see. Okay, so it's also like it's Batman in daylight, which is always kind of weird, but it's Batman Beyond, so they kind of like it happens a lot more often than the classic Batman.
I don't mind it nearly as much as in Batman Beyond as I do in Because in Batman the Animated Series, like, just straight up every time it was daytime, it felt off.
There was like that. That's a great episode, the Paul Dini episode. There's always that one. Even Paul Dini acknowledges, like, yeah, it's always kind of weird to see it like this. But the House and Garden, does Batman and Commissioner Gordon both in separate cars drive to like Pamela Isley's house when she's reformed, and just they're in like suburban neighborhood, Batman in broad daylight, Commissioner Gordon.
Right.
He's visiting her. It just feels weird. Then later on, he's surveilling her and the kids to see if she's actually going straight. And he's like looking like this tree with barely any coverage with the cape flying in broad daylight. It's always weird. It doesn't feel right. Anyway, so he's the piano teacher's walking him walking the kid to the corner. Is once he settles in, I'll call it another good line here. Wrong. He's no less a target indoors than he is outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
So Terry's kind of in a spot here. You know, Bruce Wayne's not going to let up on this. Where he's saying, like, look, I have a life. I can't follow him forever. I got a girlfriend, homework, a life. What do I do here? And so Bruce says, okay, look, I'll call the commissioner and see if I can get you some relief. And he says, which is good. It's reasonable.
Sure.
So let's see. Meanwhile, Kobra on the Kirby hovercrafts and the Kirby.
Everything about the even down to like their gadgets and everything just looks so fucking ridiculous, Dragon. Honestly,
yeah, it does. Look, I would say, I'm sure Bruce Tim probably agree with this. Like, he did get blinded by some Kirby love on the snake on the Cobra, on the cult of the Cobra.
Yeah, I mean that's fair, but.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's the thing. That's why it's there. It's why, yeah, it looks a little hokey and a little out there. Just like, yeah, but that's why it's a man's love for Kirby. It's just,
All right, really quick, just Death Star Bros. I'm not really sure why you're bringing this up, but like, this is definitely not the place to be bringing that stuff up. And I am very asexual, so I really don't care about that stuff. So yeah, I don't know why it's relevant here. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate it having you here. I appreciate like the new viewer and everything. But yeah, I don't know why you're bringing that up in particular. Right. Anyways, all right, Dragon, back to business.
Yeah. So, all right, let's see. So Batman attacks the Cobras that are seemingly trying to nab the kid. We have like this guy with like the electrical whip move. Let's see. The kid drops.
Can I just say, one of the few gadgets of the Cobras that I actually really do like are the kind of like the claw type things that they have. You know what I'm talking about? The long kind of like claw, like they're at the end of their arms.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
How ridiculous looking is that thing?
No, it's ridiculous looking, but it's ridiculous looking in a fun way. I feel like it's kind of like it's one of the few elements of the Cobra design that I kind of vibe with.
No, I'm with you. That it looks cool, but here's the fact: it's the fact that he keeps coming back and he keeps having new attachments for like long things on the arms. Like there's the blades, and then there's like kind of the crook things. So it's just, I don't know, but you're right though. It's memorable for sure.
Okay,
let's see. So Batman, this is kind of cool. The Batman hits it's creepy. Batman hits the guy with his own paralytic venom.
yeah.
All right, so the GCPD. Now this is the cleverness I like in the episode here. The GCPD are on the scene. The boy sticks up for Batman, saying, "No, Batman's one of the good guys." And he basically, are you here to take the boy? Are you the protective custody? And he says, "Oh yeah, we are." So Batman says it's okay. Like tells the kid to go to the cops. One cop returns the Soldier Sam figure, which, by the way, I was saying earlier about the toy. Did it remind you of Scuba Steve at all? Just the name.
Yeah, a little bit, sure. In the name, yeah.
But obviously, it's a G.I. Joe thing. I know. I'm just saying, it's like the whole alliteration of Soldier Sam, and it just kind of reminds me.
Soldier Sam, Combat Carl.
Yep. Dang you, Adam Sandler stepping on the toy. Anyway, so again, I love the detail of the friendly cop because you completely buy it, don't you?
You know what, Dragon? The one element of this that I don't buy is that I genuinely do not buy that Kobra would be smart enough to think of this. I buy that Terry would fall for it. I just don't buy that Kobra is this clever.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I'll give it a pass, but it's just like, as we already established with the snake pit, these guys are kind of idiots.
Yeah. Well, I gotta be honest. Look, the pit's like a hole in the ground, but it's the fact they have to maintain that hole in the ground. It's the fact that, again, why the computer? There is no reason the computer needs a giant snake statue behind it.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. Yeah.
that's what's ridiculous to me.
I don't know. I mean, they're not fiscally responsible, but a lot of geniuses are not fiscally responsible. So,
True.
what are you going to do?
Well, regardless, it's a good ploy, but you're right, a little too good for them.
And also, it's a little convenient that Batman just happened to be waiting for the cops at the time. You know what I mean? I mean, they had no way to know that.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. Well, I think the idea is they're going to kidnap the kid in broad daylight once they get, assuming they get foiled. I think it's like Plan B, but I don't know. Okay, so let's see. So Terry reports in that this is like Terry reports in, tells Bruce what's going on. So, oh yeah, thank goodness you got that relief there. And then basically says, no, I tried calling the commissioner. She was in a meeting. I couldn't get through. And we have a bit of a Terry. I don't think it counts because he's not like yelling at her in an intense situation. He just says like Terry.
I think it counts.
Really? Honestly. Do you think that counts?
Because it's just the one word. It's just the one word on its own. To me, it's as long as it's just like the name on its own. I don't know.
All right, if you're sure, because if so, I believe that puts us at 21.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it puts us at 21. And if you want to count this, Terry, you sure you want to count it?
You know what? If it makes the final count, I know that we're not done with the episodes, but if it makes the final count in the series around 20, let's not count it.
Well, we have a big Terry coming up.
Oh, do we? Okay, maybe that's the Terry I'm talking about. I'm thinking of
No. It's not in this episode. We have a big Terry coming up.
Oh, no, but I'm just saying, just as far as like the actual like Batman Beyond episodes proper, though.
Yeah, I'm saying this is like, I don't know if I'd count this Terry, but it's your call if you want to count this Terry.
Let's just say no. I don't think it's so
That's what I'm saying. He's not yelling it. That's the thing. If he's just very casually Terry, like he's just like,
all right. Let's say no.
Okay. So point being, like, oh god, I just handed the kid over to Kobra. So Terry yet again is screwed up, and he's very upset about it.
I mean, it is kind of funny that, like, in the final episode of the show, arguably Terry like screws up more than he ever does. Although it is true that it's a season 1 episode, so it's not a season 1 episode, but a season 1 plot. So it's really interesting to look at this episode as kind of like almost kind of like Batman reflecting on how much he's learned over the years, or over the series. Yeah. Not sure if the series takes place over a number of years. It probably doesn't. All right. Anyways.
All right. Let's see. So, okay, so we're back. We have the soccer game that's playing. When we come back from the break here, it says Terry's like regaling Max with the story here. He's beating himself up over like the original Batman would never fall for that. And says, hey, you were just starting out. It was season 1, Terry. Don't beat yourself up. So Batman's on patrol. He's guilt ridden over falling for it. It says they look so real. I mean, Bruce is telling him, like, yeah, they're the cop cars and the uniforms are probably stolen, which is good for us because now we can track him down. We just need the number of the car, which Terry uses like the computer in the Batmobile to find that out.
All right, so this just goes to show how much Pixar has overtaken my life, Dragon. Because in the back of my head, as soon as any sort of like number comes up, I'm like, oh, is it going to be A113? My mind is just rotted by Pixar. Anyways.
Don't put a negative spin on it.
No, I know. And it's not just Pixar. That I'm pretty sure there's been A113s in The Simpsons and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, right? it's just Cal Arts, these. Not
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyways.
It's been in other places, too. I think technically the Iron Giant might have one, too.
I'm sure there's one in the Iron Giant, yeah. Anyways.
I forget if it's on the car that he eats or not, but yeah. Okay, so let's see. Kobra's lair. So Sensei Lawrence is, no, I'm kidding. So we're in the Cobra. There's a lot of similarities. We have Miguel Diaz, we have Cobra. There's a lot going on anyway. So they hook the kid up. They hook the kid up to the machine. Terry's on the trail. Good building suspense here. Like, are they going to find out who Batman is? Is some bad going to happen to the kid? He's following him to the lair. We have the irony of the G.I. Joe nod and Cobra here when he's threatening to break the toy. Like, again, the fact that, oh man, Cobra doesn't like G.I. Joe. They're going to break the kid's G.I. Joe if he doesn't behave himself.
Yeah.
What a jerk, Threatening to break the kid's toy. Anyway, you think they're evil and they have like a snake pit or something, Okay, so they put the thing on to read the kid's mind. Let's see. They help. They give him the toy to calm him down. Tell him to picture the fire from last week, and Batman's unmasking. There's a lot of tension in the editing. The kids get scared. They give him to concentrate by again giving him the toy. He wants to go home and everything. Batman, he's infiltrating the lair. This is where we have Batman versus the blade-handed Cobra guy.
Mm-hmm.
The guy with the long like the kind of Zuko-looking like twisted blades at the end.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. So we get a face. We get a face and kind of this kaleidoscope-looking effect on the screens. We're getting a face, and we're teasing the reveal to the audience here. And like the cop is like, I know that guy. I know that. I've seen that face before. So they send it to all the Cobra bases. Seemingly, Batman's cooked.
And then Harry Osborn is in the. God damn it! The lag defeated the joke dragon. Fuck. Well, I was gonna say Harry Osborn is in the side of the room and he's in his hospital bed and he's like, I know that face.
Yeah, I'm so glad you revived that one, Tiki.
It's one of my favorite James Franco deliveries in Spider-Man 3.
Oh, come on. We know what we know what the better one is.
No, obviously, Drake, I'm not saying it's better than G1. Yeah, obviously. But I'm saying it's a solid contender for like a runner-up of funniest Franco moment in that.
All right.
I know that face.
That's better than, hey, let's do the twist.
That is just that scene. That chubby checker scene is literally awkwardly boring, which is a terrible combination of like descriptors for a scene.
Yeah, let's do the fat guy omelet dance. Okay.
Did I ever tell you about how I think I brought this up before? How I read the Peter David novelization of Spider-Man 3, and it's legitimately better than the actual movie. And I read it before I saw the movie, and it got me all hyped.
Yeah.
Because it actually, like, you were able to actually get into Peter's headspace. And so, like, literally, like, the emo Peter, like, the infamous emo Peter montage, it's like, in the book, man, it's like a slow mental deterioration. It's like you actually see it from his perspective.
No, there's no dancing in the novelization.
Yes, there is. That's why I bring it up.
Well, no, not that dance. I mean, like, is he like dancing down the street, or is it?
Oh yeah, you're right. I don't think there's any dancing in the novelization, but the reason I bring it up is that the chubby checker scene is in the novelization, and it was the one part of the reading the novelization where I was like, what? Like, why is this here? What is this accomplished?
David must. No way they're going to put that in the movie. And of course, you're watching.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god, I don't know what Raimi put that in the movie. Wow, I mean, Raimi must really love Pulp Fiction.
Right.
It's the only possible rationale.
I do remember the nightclub scene in particular, like because you have the inner monologue of Peter. It was actually pulled off really well, believe it or not. Anyways,
I can buy that.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Let's see. So, the point being, seemingly they've discovered the identity. They've sent it all across to all the other Cobra factions across the globe, which is not going to be good for Batman. Let's see. So again, Batman's he's fighting the hand guy, who is now dangling over the pit. So Batman enters. I love that he's ticked off. He's really ticked off that they're threatening the kid. Which, by the way, should mention this too. But as Batman's like he's making his way there, they get the face and everything. They send it out. The kid's like, I want to go home. Says, yeah, the cop. Very simple. They should take the kid home. Instead, the cop takes him to the pit. And it's like just such pricks. They're gonna kill this kid after they
literally nothing.
Yeah. Again, the kid's scared. He has no idea how he got there. It's just there's nothing to gain here. They're all snake people. They're all,
right.
You have the cop, but still, it's just like the cops people wearing a mask everywhere else. Though all these Cobra guys, they don't. What's the difference? So it's just the fact they're going to kill this kid in the most horrific way possible. They're going to kill him Indiana Jones style. You don't do that. Okay, so Batman he sees this and he gets really ticked off. So he knocks out the cop. Then we have like the electrical lacrosse blade guy. Okay, let's see.
I will say the action in this episode, just in general, in spite of Kobra being pretty lame, it's pretty on point.
Yeah, yeah.
All the fight stuff is well paced, doesn't go on for too long, well choreographed.
So the Cobra leader is taking the boy hostage to escape, and then the boy fires the projectile, kind of like the recall Boba Fett jetpack almost.
Right.
Fires at the Cobra guy's face, so he loosens the grip for a second there, and so Batman has the kid. Then the Cobra leader he gloats that Batman, you may have won the battle, you lost the war. Everyone knows who you are now. Ha ha ha! And he willingly jumps down the Cobra pit, thinking
just
that he's
straight up, like just to make it YouTube censor friendly. Dragon, he just straight up unalives himself.
I love that Batman like shields the kid's eyes from this.
Yeah, that is a nice touch. Yeah.
So we reveal as Batman's like shielding the kid. He kind of looks on the screen, he kind of smiles, seeing what again. It's kind of bad for this Cobra guy, but he was a bad man.
I don't feel bad for him.
No. I'm just saying it's like the fact that he's gonna he's gonna
if anything, I think it's fucking funny that he's like so devoted to his whole Cobra thing.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. It's just the fact that he's like, wow, he didn't really have any forethought that maybe the kid could be stupid. I'm not saying that Miguel is. I'm saying there's a possibility he could have considered. Maybe the kid's just not good with faces. What if that's
I will say, Dragon, I have terrible facial recognition. If you hook me up to this machine, my friend, it'll just be a blur. It'll literally be a blur.
Really? You have no facial.
I'm fucking terrible with facial recognition, man. Like, let's say if I meet, like, if I go to, if I've met someone like a couple times, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for me. It's really hard for me.
I actually had to identify someone recently, and I had a good facial recall. I actually basically casted them, and that's how I did the description. I said, looks a little like this guy. I showed him like a clip of it looks like that actor, but just like imagine these few details like this, and this. Anyway, so we reveal the kid imagined in the state of distress, imagined Soldier Sam, a hero that he kind of was likening Batman to. So it's basically Batman with like this Nick Fury G.I. Joe head. Okay, so then we do the wrap up. Which again, yet another happy-go-lucky Batman Beyond wrap-up here, where Max is asking like, how can you be so sure like the kid doesn't remember? And like this kid, Terry tosses the kid the soccer ball because that was him. He's never seen him a bunch. He's never recognized me. But then as they turn around, the kid smiles at him maybe a little longer. Maybe the kid. What do you think, Tiki? Do you think the kid remembers?
I fully think that the kid remembers, especially because I feel like he very intentionally did the Combat Carl thing. Not the Combat Carl thing.
Stay in school.
Yes.
Cough, do no harm, cough in the arm.
Oh, God. But, he did that whole thing, and I think that I don't think there would have been a reason to do that if it weren't for the fact that he had a pretty clear mental memory of the face, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I fully buy into the fact that this kid knows that it's Terry.
So you think he did it intentionally to protect them?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I mean, that's not. Look, I never. I never read it that way, but I do like that read on. I mean, I'd like to give the kid the credit there that he did that. So that'd be nice. I'm saying here's the thing. He's holding.
If it weren't for the knowing look, then I might just think what Terry thinks. But honestly, I feel like they don't just put that knowing look there for nothing. You know what I mean?
Yep. And then years later, if Terry ends up retiring and he's gonna have like a goatee and he's gonna be like kind of bummed out in the mansion, this kid's gonna show up. He's gonna become a cop. And he's gonna show up and say, you know what? I looked at you that one time, and I just knew. Call it a feel. I'm not an orphan, but I had a feeling though. I had a mother who loved me, and she
honestly. Oh man, I mean, I like me some Joseph Gordon-Levitt, but he was like the thing that was dragging that movie down, man. At least just as far as like the sheer screen time suck that his character had. It's just like, all right, I get it. Anyways,
okay. Anyway, that's the last official episode of Batman Beyond.
Yeah, again, Dragon, I think that it's obviously not like if you're really doing a series finale nowadays, you want to like tie up all the loose ends and everything. But I just think as far as like a closing statement on this show, using the whole like next generation and protecting Batman and all that good stuff, I think this is a really solid place to end. I think it kind of brings Terry's development full circle from season 1. I really like this episode a lot, and honestly, it really pisses me off that we had the technical issues that we did in the middle of this. It really, that gets under my skin. But yeah, big thumbs up with this episode.
Yeah, I want to be clear. I've never had any ill will towards this episode, and I don't think anyone really does have ill will towards it. Just in hindsight, and again, the fact that eventually we do get kind of a proper ending to Batman, I think, has softened people's like views on like how could they possibly, let this be the last episode of Batman Beyond. So I think history's been good to this episode over time. But I think going through Batman Beyond the way we have, we see Kobra. If we're gonna have like a last Batman Beyond villain, maybe Kobra wasn't the best choice. But all considering, the episode itself is pretty solid. It's a nice statement on like what separates Terry. Like Terry doing something Bruce Wayne would never do. But
sure.
By the same token, honoring what Batman would doing that. It's Batman saving a kid. And I mean, look. In comparison, again, with the huge, Amazing Spider-Man comparison, I mean, look, those are two good scenes in their own right, but it's a thing, too, of, it fits the whole scare factor of Batman, which, again, kind of connects to that Darwin Cook comparison I made earlier. So, I don't know, Batman having to remove the mask, not to scare a kid, makes a little bit more sense than Spider-Man, because the kids instantly love Spider-Man. It's like, oh, he's the friendly, funny guy with the mask who does not have the guns and swords that kills people. He's the other one with the webs.
I mean, let's face it. As far as like scenes where Spider-Man has to remove his mask, like it's not the Amazing Spider-Man 2 that I'm gravitating to, Dragon. It's another Spider-Man 2. Let's face it.
Yeah, no. Well, it was the first Amazing Spider-Man, but yes.
Oh yeah, right. I'm sorry.
I know you made a good point there. It's just it's not too.
I mean, my God, the whole he's just a kid. No older than my son.
God, help, man. Now we're just going to talk about how great. Let's restart the whole podcast. Let's talk about how great Spider-Man 2 is.
That line is one of those movie lines that always makes my dad cry every time he sees it. Yeah.
God, this is so much good in that movie.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, but so Batman Beyond, though, again, there's a lot of points at which Batman Beyond season 3 could have ended, depending on how you look. I mean, T, where do you come down at the end of the day? Do you like this as the ending? Do you think the call should have been the ending, or do you think Countdown should have been the ending?
I mean, honestly, Dragon, like I said, I'm kind of fine with this being the ending just because it does bring things full circle.
Yeah.
And we do get a lot of memorable Bruce Wayne bits. I don't know. I mean, all three of them are good in their own right, but I feel like this is I kind of like how I honestly kind of like how sort of unassuming this episode is as a finale, while still kind of having the ability to pack a punch.
Yeah. There's a nice understated quality to it. You know, we don't have to go super huge with the ending, but again, since it's nice to kind of tie up loose ends, which we will get at some point. So you know, we kind of at the end of the day everything worked out. So this is solid enough way to end. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
All right, and okay, so really quick, just thinking Kogias, Little Blue, and Rice Noodle for having that Discovery Kingdom question, which was random, but hey, I appreciate you. Oh, I actually just saw this when he was gone. When I was gone, Rice Noodle says his brother and him went a month ago, and they were blown away at how many attractions were closed. Not worth it. Yeah, man. It's literally been like a year since I went to Discovery Kingdom, and I'm not really in a rush to go back because of that. And the park wasn't in great shape. The animal section, I feel like they did a good job with. I feel like the animals are getting more attention than the rides, which was not the case for a long time. Anyways, and then also Death Star Bros. I'm not quite sure what was up with the last couple comments there, man, but I still appreciate you. I hope you resurface. It's always nice to have new blood in the comments. So yeah. All right, Dragon, take us out. What's the next one?
Static and Batman teamed up again. A future in jeopardy. More snake people. Ken, Virgil Hawkins, and Terry McGinnis rescue Kobra's prisoner. Will Static Beyond make a grand entrance? Tune in next time to find out. Same animated bat time, same animated bat place.
On the next visit to Batcave Beyond with Aftershock? That's the name of it, right? I hope.
Future Shock.
Future Shock. Okay, I'm terribly sorry, Dragon. When I left, it deleted the private chat message. And all right. On the next visit to Batcave Beyond with Future Shock. All right, sorry about that, folks. See y'all later. Have a good night.
That doesn't matter.